the dog found a meaty bone for the first time. Overjoyed, it sprinted wildly through the streets, only to have its lunch knocked right out of its mouth the very next second. Anxiously, the dog searched through the crowd. If it couldn't find the bone, it would go hungry again today. Just then, a troop happened to be passing through the street, but the dog had no interest in watching. It stared longingly at the bread in a woman's hands. Private Schwei noticed the dog and thought it must be starving, so he pulled a biscuit from his pocket and tossed it over. Seeing the biscuit, the dog gulped it down in one bite. But one biscuit was far from enough to satisfy it. In a flash of inspiration, the dog decided to follow the troops, hoping for more food. It trailed Private Schwei all the way back to the military camp, only to be stopped by the guards at the gate. Feeling unwelcome, the dog was about to leave when it caught a whiff of something delicious. Peeking through a gap in the wooden fence, it spotted Schwei training inside. Instantly excited, the dog dug a hole under the fence and slipped into the camp. Following the scent, it made its way straight to the kitchen. The sight of ribs laid out on the table completely won the dog over, but before it could take a bite, it nearly got hit by a chef's cleaver. The chef hurled the iron pot its way, sending the dog fleeing in panic only to crash right into a soldier. When it looked up, it was none other than Schwei, the one it had been looking for. From then on, the dog stayed by Schwei's side, refusing to leave. To get his attention, it let out a bark which unexpectedly caught the drill instructor's notice. The instructor asked who the dog belonged to, and the dog immediately looked toward Schwei. Panicking, Schwei tried to signal the dog to leave with his eyes. But instead of getting angry, the instructor told Schwei to take good care of the dog. Then, training resumed. To everyone's surprise, the dog even mimicked the soldiers' stances during drills. Seeing such an obedient dog, the instructor couldn't help but laugh. With the instructor's tacit approval, the dog began its life in the army alongside Schwei. Every day, it joined the soldiers in training. At first, it struggled to tell left from right, but as days passed, it not only followed commands accurately but also excelled in intense drills. The dog also proved to be a capable assistant. After target practice, it would fetch the bullseye for the instructor to review. Everyone grew fond of it and even gave it a name, Stubby. However, good times never last. One day, the general suddenly arrived for an inspection. Seeing Stubby, he grew furious and sternly demanded why there was a dog in the camp. This time, Schwei bravely stepped forward, saluted respectfully, and told the general that Stubby was his dog. Seeing Schwei salute, Stubby immediately copied him. Impressed by this, the general allowed Stubby to stay in the camp as an official soldier. But then, the troops received orders they were being deployed to a perilous battlefield. The general wanted Stubby to remain at the camp, leaving Schwei deeply worried. Stubby, too, seemed to sense what was coming. Suddenly, the war broke out. Crack, a gunshot echoed, and Schwei's unit was mobilized to the front lines. They were ordered to immediately head to the front lines for support. Before leaving, Schwei entrusted Stubby to the cook. Staring into Schwei's eyes, Stubby clearly sensed what was happening, but he was powerless to stop it. He could only watch as Schwei walked away. Then, in a flash of inspiration, Stubby bit through his leash and dashed off. He sprinted all the way, following the scent until he reached the train station, but the train had already started moving. He ran alongside the tracks, managing to climb aboard the last car. Finally arriving at the port, the soldiers began boarding the ship, but Stubby was stopped at the gangway. Just then, he spotted a conveyor belt loading cargo. Quietly slipping over, he squeezed into a shipping crate and successfully stowed away on board. Once on the ship, he made his way to the soldiers' quarters and, using his keen sense of smell, found Schwei's bunk. Seeing Stubby before him, Schwei was both thrilled and worried. They had to find a way to hide him. But as luck would have it, an officer discovered them. Sensing danger, Stubby quickly put his talents to work, and this act earned him his very own military dog tag. After a long journey, the troops soon arrived at the battlefield, a place thick with the stench of death. The comrades who had been holding the line there were deeply demoralized, but Stubby remained unfazed. Soon after arriving, he put his skills to use by chasing away rats that were stealing the soldiers' rations. Yet it wasn't long before he witnessed the true brutality of war. Shell after shell rained down, and Schwei quickly shielded Stubby beneath him, barely saving the dog from harm. As the smoke cleared, Stubby shook off his fear. Using his sharp nose, he located a soldier buried in the rubble. Thanks to Stubby, the soldier was rescued and treated in time, narrowly escaping death. Even on the stretcher, the soldier gestured his gratitude toward Stubby. One day, while scouting the enemy's movements with the troops, Stubby suddenly detected that the enemy was preparing to attack with poison gas shells. They had to return to the unit immediately and warn everyone to take protective measures. But on their way back, they were ambushed. In that critical moment, Stubby leaped and knocked Schwei out of harm's way. Schwei was unharmed, but their horse panicked. Seeing the danger, Schwei took out a gas mask and signaled to Stubby to go back and alert the others. Stubby understood instantly and raced toward the unit. Not long after, the enemy launched the first poison gas shell. Green toxic smoke quickly filled the sky. At the crucial moment, Stubby made it back to the trenches in time. He persistently tugged at a sentry's gas mask until the soldier understood. He put on the mask and sounded the alarm immediately. But Stubby didn't stop there. He pulled gas masks from storage crates, urging everyone to protect themselves. With Stubby's help, not a single soldier was harmed. Yet the enemy fired another poison gas shell, this time with thicker smoke that drifted toward a civilian neighborhood. In that dire moment, Stubby sprinted at full speed to the village, barking frantically at the sky. Seeing the toxic cloud, the villagers quickly shut their windows and doors and took cover. Stubby was then safely retrieved by Shuai, who arrived just in time, and taken to a secure area. A comrade soaked a towel in water to create a makeshift gas mask, which they placed over Stubby's head. The poisonous gas grew denser and soon engulfed the entire village. Fortunately, thanks to Stubby's timely warning, the villagers remained unharmed. As the gas slowly dissipated, the crisis was finally averted. Everyone was deeply grateful to Stubby, who found himself suddenly hailed as a hero. Just how much impact could a dog have on the battlefield? Faced with the enemy's fierce artillery fire, Stubby showed no fear. Moments earlier, a soldier had been trapped in a shell crater within enemy range, his life in imminent danger. In that critical moment, Stubby dashed out. Courageous and determined, he weaved swiftly through the bombardment and, using his keen sense of smell, quickly located his comrade. The soldier was badly wounded and unable to walk on his own. Stubby immediately barked toward the rear lines. Upon receiving the specific coordinates, the commander ordered smoke grenades to be launched, covering the rescue team as they retrieved the wounded soldier. After this incident, Stubby earned immense respect in the camp. The soldiers began to see him as a role model, and the villagers, grateful for his bravery during the gas attack, specially tailored a military uniform for him. His comrades also gifted him a proper gas mask. Stubby had become a crucial figure in the war. As time passed, the fighting intensified. The enemy's defeat was evident, but they continued to resist desperately. In an attempt to turn the tide, they launched a large-scale assault. One day, 3 enemy soldiers infiltrated the camp on a sabotage mission, but their movements were detected early by Stubby. He quickly alerted Shuai, leading to a carefully planned ambush. Stubby took the initiative, drawing the enemy's attention. When the enemy gave chase, Shuai and others, lying in wait on both sides, successfully captured all 3. Just then, a grenade landed near the soldiers. In the nick of time, Stubby rushed forward, seized the grenade in his mouth, and sprinted away. A deafening explosion followed, burying Stubby under the rubble, critically injured. Everyone rushed him to the field hospital for treatment. After Stubby was taken away, Shuai was distraught, even experiencing hallucinations. He longed again and again for Stubby's return, but to no avail. Meanwhile, Stubby gradually recovered, missing Shuai terribly. He eventually slipped out of the hospital and embarked on a journey to find him. Despite his still healing body, he traveled all the way back to the war zone, only to find the troops had already moved on. Nothing remained but ruins and rubble. Stubby refused to give up, continuing his search with the few clues he had. Back with the unit, Shuai's condition had worsened. He had contracted influenza during a march and was in critical condition. Just when he felt he might not make it, Stubby appeared before him. Seeing the dog he had longed for day and night, Shuai found renewed courage to live. With Stubby by his side, Shuai slowly recovered. Months later, they both returned to the front lines. Stubby resumed his duties as before, patrolling the trenches with vigilant steps. Suddenly, a strange and unfamiliar scent caught his attention. Following the smell, he noticed a person behaving very suspiciously. In an instant, he realized this was very likely a spy. He immediately charged forward and engaged the person in a struggle, but being only a dog, he was soon overpowered. Just as it seemed he might lose his life, his comrades arrived in the nick of time and successfully subdued the individual. The man was indeed a spy who had secretly infiltrated the camp intending to steal military secrets. Fortunately, Stubby's timely discovery prevented the scheme from succeeding. To commend Stubby for his exceptional service in this incident, the unit, after deliberation, decided to exceptionally promote him to the rank of sergeant, while Shuai was promoted to corporal.
Hey, Stubby, you outrank me now.
For our newspapers back home, say cheese.
Finally, news of the ceasefire arrived, but with it came one last battle. As the smoke of war cleared, the dog sorrowfully picked up a helmet, its edge pierced by a bullet, revealing that Shuai's comrade had tragically fallen. Upon returning home in victory, Stubby received a hero's welcome. Wherever he went, people regarded him with admiration and affection. In 1926, Stubby peacefully passed away in Shuai's arms at the age of 10. Although Stubby's departure brought grief to countless people, his legendary story has forever remained in their hearts.